In this PowerPoint presentation, we'll be carrying out a stakeholder analysis which will identify the type of stakeholders and the importance of understanding them in order to have better communication between the stakeholder and the project manager.
Edward Freeman in 1984 defined stakeholders as a person or organisation who can be positively or negatively impacted by or cause an impact on the actions of a company. So how does this relate to project management and managing resources? A project manager cares about the people involved in the project activities. These can be either internal within the organisation or external, such as agencies or other companies. A good project manager will get to know the stakeholders before they join, whilst being able to manage these key relationships with the stakeholders in order to determine success.
In this presentation, we are carrying out a stakeholder analysis on our selected project. Our project focuses on a startup business which is a juicery bar located within a gym with a quick short-term setup extending into long-term duration. Therefore, the stakeholders mentioned in this presentation will be reflected to this startup business.
It is important to identify your stakeholders as this determines a success or unsuccessful conclusion. We have divided up potential stakeholders into internal and external stakeholders shown in the grid below. Internal stakeholders such as employees and shareholders, and external stakeholders such as suppliers and customers.
Our first internal stakeholders are shareholders. Shareholders usually own at least one share of a company's stock, and it is important to keep them happy as a project manager. Shareholders are critical to any organisation as they have the power to direct the company's strategic planning and management. As you can see on the power interest grid, we have placed the shareholders as having high power but also high interest in the company, as it is important to involve them constantly by offering continuous feedback on planned strategies but also keeping them connected financially due to their investment. In approaching the shareholders, we need to ensure we convey our messages and information to them correctly through effective communication such as annual shareholder meetings, annual letters to the shareholders and quarterly earnings calls.
Our second stakeholder are employees, which create and deliver the products or services that the customers consume. We have placed employees on the power interest grid as having high interest and low power. By the employees having a high interest in the company, their performance will enhance and also their productivity. As I have mentioned, the employees do not have a great deal of power, but you still need to keep them happy. You can do this by showing your understanding to your employees when asking the question, what motivates them most of all? An answer to this is by offering them incentives and benefits such as events or rewards, which will further their motivation. When communicating with the employees, you would need to do this on a daily basis through daily objectives and information sent via email or verbally, as well as group meetings to allow discussions or issues within the workforce, but most importantly, treating your employees as though they are your customers.
Our first external stakeholders is customers. Can you think of a successful organisation without customers? Well, the answer is no. They are a critical aspect of an organisation's success in buying and receiving the products in which you sell. In the power interest grid, customers show high power as they are in control of how successful the product is, and low interest in terms of they might just want to buy a product from you as it is convenient for them. In order to reach your customers, you need to show good levels of communication, mostly through marketing your products correctly, through advertisements such as newspapers, newsletters and social media presences, which is important in today's technology. Incentives such as loyalty rewards, a likeable brand, but most importantly an excellent product.
Suppliers are our second external stakeholder. They provide you with the raw materials or essential services which will allow your business to perform and sell your product. On the power interest grid, suppliers have moderate power, as it is possible to get a different supplier easily. The interest is also moderate, as suppliers are only interested in our performance so they know whether to repeat purchase. In understanding your suppliers, it's important to ask what information do they want from you, such as what products we require from them, which can establish a good relationship. Excellent levels of communication is required. You can do this by meeting your supplier regularly and building a trusting relationship on a regular basis. This way we are able to share precision and plan ahead of scheduling.
In conclusion, we have analysed our key stakeholders and have highlighted throughout our presentation who our main stakeholders are and why they are important and ideal for our firm. Stakeholder management is critical to the success of every project in every organisation. We have used the power grid in order to determine the justification of our stakeholders and also so that we are able to see how we would correctly manage and communicate with each individual stakeholder, as people play an important role in managing resources.